Testing, 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 testing. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All of a sudden, anyway, hello. Uh, been doing a bunch of work trying to organize things better in the room because this is about the only area I've got. I got a bunch of containers in that I ordered, and I don't, for the heck, there's different sizes. So there's, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 of these. I think there's maybe 2 of these that are tall. Now the same top fits all these different types of containers. So there's just one type of top, but there's different sizes. So here is the biggest size, the tallest size. Here is the next size, I guess, type of container. Is there a short, little tiny? I don't see one. See, did I mention, okay, there's this type of a container. So I guess there is one that doesn't, have the, okay, these round ones, of course, use. Okay, so I've been trying to organize my stuff and put my stuff just to make it, because it's a mess here, for the little stuff. And I have these giant containers over here, which I think you can see with the other camera. Three, 4 of those giant ones. And stuff gets tossed in, and has for years, just been tossed in there. It's amazing what, is in there, and what I find. Things that I forgot that I had, things that I can use and need. Several things that I have purchased and didn't know that I had them, so I ordered in another one, So, anyway, these here I can't find on Amazon where I ordered it. I mean, it's within the last few weeks, so I don't think I did order from Amazon. So that is kind of strange. Anyway, this is going to help me, I think, a lot. And, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, it's on the floor here, which I don't think I'm going to set up some type of a, well, I guess you guys got to see it since I'm talking about it. No, you don't. It comes up. There's like a metal thing, and things go in there, and then it comes up, and then it's on a thing that, goes around. And anyway, the heck with that. Darlene, the ex-wife, went to, see, yesterday I think it was, we had to call an ambulance. She's having breathing. She used her breathing machine on her 3 times in the day, and she was still having breathing trouble. And you're really only supposed to use, the breathing machine once, at home. So she called the insurance nurse, and the nurse asked some questions and then said that she should go into the hospital. So she went in the hospital, but she came back after a few hours in much, much better shape, and she's in better shape today. Now we just have to, because they changed some medicines and increased dosage or did things at the pharmacy, and so, I say that, why did I say, yeah. The pharmacy, not just this one that we use, but the other one too, that we used to use, they're just going to hell. It's not working the way it used to. I've seen things on, online that they're talking about there aren't enough pharmacists. They're really in demand, and a pharmacist goes to school just about as long as a doctor does, except I guess he doesn't do his residency and those kind of things. But the pharmacists go to school, and they're paid good money. Well, it's got much better. I've known a couple pharmacists that, especially one, I'll just talk about one. He had an attitude, like, well, I went to school as long as a doctor did, and here they're only paying me such and such, and I've got to do, I got to be, in the shop or at the pharmacy doing. Of course, they have, they work in hospitals. They work, at CVS or Walgreens or name any other place that has a pharmacy in it. They have to work there and all, and it's just, so they bitch and complain. Anyway, because the economy has been so good, and there's a lot of people are making more money. There's a lot of openings for jobs, and that's, and then of course the Republicans are trying to keep everybody out of the United States, especially if they're Hispanic or they're dark or, whatever, which is not new for them. And it's not new for in the early days of the United States, when like the gold mining was going on, when the railroad was, being built across the United States, so that it went from the East Coast to the West Coast. Chinese were, welcomed to come. Well, not welcomed, but they wanted them to come. And then as soon as they built the railroads and all that kind of stuff, then we wanted them out of the country and, kicked their asses out of the country. So, welcome to America. Anyway, we actually need people coming into this country. And there's a lot of jobs, a whole bunch of jobs that, now I worked, I worked as a welder, a boiler maker. I built trucks. I built gigantic trucks. I built all kinds of stuff. I worked hospital security for 30 years. We had a tropical fish shop. At the time, wife and I had for 4 years. We had a patrol service for a little bit over a year, my own, that I started up, and what else? God. Anyway, we've done, I've done a lot of jobs, dirty jobs, hot jobs, dangerous jobs, and I volunteered where I didn't get paid. I was a reserve police officer for a small town for, 9 years or something. Back when I was in high school, I was in high school, and I don't think the Christian Brothers regarded me as being one of their real Christian brother boys, I was in, I mentioned it before, De La Salle, Christian Brothers, 4 homerooms each year. 2 were the smart kids, and 2, they were smart kids, and 2 were the dumb. I was in the dumb, the dumb, which I actually belonged there. But, but during the time that I was going to, say, to high school, I was in the Kansas City, Missouri Civil Defense. And that's when people were building bomb shelters and doing all kinds of things. And I don't know anybody else going to, De La Salle Military Academy that was in civil defense. I was in the Ground Observer Corps watching for enemy aircraft, standing on top of the Army Record Center, up on the roof, watching and reporting every aircraft that we saw, what else? I was a CPR instructor. I went to EMT, training through EMT training. I just did a lot of stuff. And now, the Republicans especially, they want to keep people out of the country. And we need actually the people that, nowadays the people we need are, restaurant workers and, people that are bringing in the crops and things, working out in the, on, you know, on tractors and doing all kinds of things. And those are the people those jobs don't pay much money. They don't get much respect that they should. But then there's two other people, that, and the Republicans want to keep those workers out, and we need those, we need those workers. But really what we need to do is, I didn't want to get into talking about politics. How did I get there? Somehow did this get me talking about that, Oh, pharmacy, yeah. So, you have the pharmacist, and then you have all these people that have to, that are pharmacy technicians and all that kind of stuff. And it's really, it's stressful work, and it's important that it's, accurate work. And so the pay is not, it's not the minimum wage. And it's, because prices of, wages have been going up. But it's, now I would not be good. I went through EMT training because I was working at a small hospital and they didn't have enough staff in the emergency room. And so I, went through EMT training just so I could be there to help them when they needed something. But like I could not be a nurse. I mean, I could not have been a nurse or a doctor or something like that. I just couldn't do it. I would not have, what it takes. I mean, I would, let me think if I can come up with something. Okay. Emergency room was busy. I was an EMT. I was actually a CPR instructor. The hospital, I did, along with a few others, CPR instructors with it, that, the nurses and everybody there had to go through CPR training every couple of years and be certified, and I certified. I could do that. But, okay, let me see. What have I done? Not wrong, not hurt anybody or whatever. Okay. The nurses were busy, and the nurse said, "Jim, could you go and there in the trauma room?" This was not a trauma patient, but that's the one that patient was in there, a lady, and I went in and would I get the blood pressure? So I went in, pumped it up, got the blood pressure, and reported back to the nurse, and then about I don't know how long, 30 minutes, an hour later, Virginia, the nurse, said, I'll go, I need to go take that patient's, get the blood pressure again. Went in, and then she came out and she said, "Jim, I didn't have to pump up the thing. You didn't, deflate it or whatever. Now, nothing happened to the, the lady. But that's the kind of thing, I mean, if I couldn't have been a nurse, and a whole bunch of jobs I could not have been. But there's a lot of jobs that, that I spent hours, weeks, boy, I better start, hours, days, weeks, months, years underneath the railroad cars, welding them, and I did fine. I went to Convent, Louisiana, because they needed welders there. Actually, the Union Hall had put the word out to us, the Boilermakers, that Pascagoula, Mississippi needed at the shipyard, welders for working at the shipyard, and I was heading that direction. But when I got to New Orleans, I thought, why am I going to go all the way there? I'll just check the Union Hall here, and went in, and they said, well, wow, we have a refinery being built out here, and we need welders. So they sent me over to the testing facility where I had to weld, and then they tested the weld. 2 pieces of metal together, and you weld them. They put them in a bending machine, and they bend it. And it better not break or anything where you welded these 2 pieces of steel together. They bend it, and if that breaks or something, then you don't. And then there was, of course, others where they did different kinds of the same ones. I did multiple tests, certified, sent there, and I could do that. But yeah, there's a lot of jobs. Well, if I came across the border, if I were a Hispanic, if I were Mexican or something like that, anything. If I came across the border, I could do, if they told me when to pick the stuff, I could do that. I couldn't now. I'm 82. I couldn't probably when I was 60. I could work as a security officer and whatever, but so far as bending over and picking fruit or something, I'd had my back and stuff would not have taken it. But anyway, back to pharmacy. So there's a lot of people that don't want to go through the pharmacy training. I'm not talking about being a pharmacist. I'm talking about being in the past, somebody would, they need in the pharmacy people to, do the work that the pharmacy, people do, that we depend on. Let's see. I don't know if you can see the medicines over there. I just put them, by the way, in one of these containers. Let me get that for you. Let's see. Well, no. Okay, now, hang on. This is one of the containers that I got in. I don't know where I got them. I decided to put all of my pills containers in here. I didn't order these in for that reason or anything like that, but it just seems like this is a good way. They're all together right there, stacked up neat. And a pharmacy tech, they're not pharmacists. They're not, But could I do that job? No, I couldn't. I don't know what it is. People are different. If the pharmacist, or if I don't know if they write it, if the pharmacist said, need, 50 PYG7, or whatever, I would start, doing I think I saw a YouTube video that talked about training of them and everything. And I wondered a little bit how they, I think 10 is the thing for, they do 10 at a time. And they have this, that works out well. Like NASA has certain procedures and things that for certain things are done a certain way and that kind of stuff. So I think it was, but I couldn't have been a pharmacy, the lowest level pharmacy. Well, maybe they have somebody that mops the floor and brings the boxes off of the truck or something. And yeah, I could do that. I could have done that. But so far as something that I consider, easy or simple, I couldn't. They'd have fired me the first. I probably worked there 2 or 3 days. The First day they'd probably, oh God, this guy. But, it would be like, okay, hundreds of such and such, So, oh, Bob, how many was I supposed to put in here? And then I'd be putting them in, and then somebody would ask me a question, One of the other pharmacy workers would ask me a question, and it'd be like, oh, I lost my count. How many had I put in there? Now, I'm sure they have things, to help them, but so, we need, people coming across, across the border. But what we need to do, well, number one, what we need to do is follow the law. And that is when people come to our border and they are fleeing war or a Holocaust or whatever, when they come to our border, it's the law, our law and international law, that you can't just turn them away. But you can ascertain whether they're honestly, are they coming because for whatever reason that's not legit, Are they coming because they like American pussy or something? I have no idea what it would be that, but, what we need to do is follow the law, screen these people when they come, not break up their families, not put their kids someplace where then they can't be reunited with their kids, which the Republicans did deliberately, which Trump did deliberately, which he should go to prison for that. Although I'm not sure we could find a law that would cover that, because you wouldn't think somebody would do that. Maybe that'd come under the Holocaust laws or something, in from Germany or something. So first follow what the laws, and when these people come to the border, if they're coming to the border because, hey, everything's nice back in, whatever country they're coming from, Spain or Italy or wherever it is. Hey, everything's great here, I've got 10 or 15 businesses, and I've got a nice car and all that kind of stuff. But, I think I would like to go into the United States and live in the United States and work in the United States. Now, we might want those kind of people, but, first we take care of the people that, are fleeing from other countries because they have to. And what we're supposed to do is take care of those people, So anyway, there's a lot of jobs I couldn't have done, but I've worked all my life. Usually when I was working as a welder, I didn't have a second job. Now, when I was working hospital security, I usually had a second job that was not hospital security, but security. So I worked full-time hospital security for 30 years, and, part-time security. My wife and I had a tropical fish shop. We made it okay, but it was sort of seasonal. And maybe that's because everybody didn't have air conditioning. I'm not sure. Because during the wintertime, we were busy, really busy. And then when the first summer came, we had 4 years we had it. First, summer came, nobody wanted to buy any fish, or just they wanted to only buy what they had to buy. Maybe fish food or something, And we thought, what have we done wrong, And of course we didn't do anything wrong. Darlene and I, gave everybody a fair deal, fair prices, I mean, everything. We did it, Anyway, first summer, wow, Now we made it because, we had stocks. We had stock, not stock in bonds, but, we had merchandise there, fish tanks and all this kind of stuff. And, we sold it, but then, we're selling it, but not much, And then bang, wintertime is here and we're so busy, non-stop dealing with customers. And so I forget, I think Darlene, she added, oh yeah, pond supplies. I can't think of the water hyacinths or all these kind of things. We got those, and we got those kind of supplies. And then, okay, then that didn't work. And so the next, same situation. So the next summer, we got in dog collars, cat collars, cat toys, dog toys, all that kind of stuff, and added that. That didn't help. And then the next summer, we got in well, we wasn't for the summer exactly, but we got in parrots and parakeets and that kind of, in addition to the tropical fish and all that kind of thing. And so we just saw that was the pattern that, and two things were starting to change. Tropical fish shops at that time were, like Darlene, all her life she had tropical fish and stuff. Not me, but, so we couldn't believe it, and other tropical fish shop owners couldn't believe it, that tropical fish shops were opening in malls, shopping malls and stuff like that. And we went over to a mall and could not believe it, that there was a tropical fish shop in a mall and stuff. So anyway, we moved on to other things. And okay, this is only about 30 minutes, and I have my headset on, but I can hear Darlene, the ex-wife, and my grown son, he's 47, talking in the background, and probably doesn't sound too good to you, and I don't know what they're saying too, so no telling. So anyway, I'm just going to bring this to a conclusion. And also, you might have noticed I hadn't shown a screen. I mean, well, let's see if I can pop one up here, but it's, okay, can you see? Okay, you can see that, okay. So that means that, now that was on this monitor. Okay, what's working when it goes from here over to here, no. So that's not working. That's not working right. So I'm going to bring this to a conclusion, and then I'll put this on my list to fix whatever the strangeness is about. Well, it has nothing to do with it, but I'm doing 1080p by 60 frames a second. I've mentioned this before. Nobody's ever, maybe, I don't think anybody's ever really commented. Well, everybody has probably commented. I mean, not everybody, but there's been, I wonder if it's not going to solve this problem, but I wonder if I should just do 30 frames a second. You don't need to see me in 60 frames a second, so if you have a comment, leave it below. Thank you very much. Okay.